Rappers who went broke in the stupidest ways.
50 Cent was spending $108,000 per month to rent an 18-bedroom mega mansion, while T-Pain's bankruptcy was so brutal that by the end of it, he had to borrow money just to buy Burger King.
Really?
However, let's begin by talking about DMX, who had to file for bankruptcy on three separate occasions as he couldn't afford child support. You see, DMX had 17 children with 11 different women, and almost every child resulted in some kind of lawsuit or child support requirement. For example, DMX was sued for $1.5 million worth of child support in 2008 after a genetic test confirmed that he was the father of a previously unclaimed baby, which when combined with his declining music career resulted in his first bankruptcy filing. 4 years later in 2012, DMX was sued by a different ex-partner for a further $1 million worth of child support, and a year after this lawsuit, he'd file for bankruptcy a second time. His third bankruptcy would occur in 2016, during which it would be discovered that DMX—
Bro, just get snipped at that point, man. Like, yeah, after, like, if you start reaching double digits in kids, man, come on, dude. You gotta dial it back, my dude. Jeez.
DMX had racked up a further $1.7 million worth of unpaid child and family support, which accompanied $950,000 in bank debt and $1.7 million worth of tax debt. Since he had $0 in his bank account, DMX was sentenced to 6 months in prison for the child support, a further year in prison for the unpaid taxes, and was also ordered to pay the government $2.29 million in restitution after he was released from his time behind bars. However, DMX never had the chance to pay the amount back in full, as he died in April 2021, and despite his extensive family—
That's his tombstone? Cool picture.
As he died in April 2021, and despite his extensive family tree, DMX never wrote a will, meaning that his family was still involved in money-related legal battles even after he was dead and buried. Tiger was certainly better at managing his child support payments, although he definitely had a weakness when it came to luxury spending. After cultivating his career as a successful rapper, Tiger's name entered news headlines after he'd purchased a $200,000 Mercedes Maybach for his girlfriend, while being $480,000 behind in rental payments on a luxury Malibu home. As a result, Tiger was sued by his landlord, although he'd failed to show up to court as he was on holiday in Turks and Caicos. Yet this situation wasn't the only example of Tiger spending big in one area while being financially behind in another. For example, in 2016, while shopping for a new Bentley, Tiger's Ferrari
while shopping for a new Bentley.
As Tiger hadn't been paying for the loan. Despite this, Tiger would go on to purchase another Mercedes Maybach, as well as a Land Rover, a Rolls-Royce Ghost, and a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, all of which were repossessed for non-payment, while he was seen looking at a brand new Lamborghini.
This guy has an addiction, dude. Holy shit, this guy has an addiction.
In addition to this, Tiger was sued by a second landlord for $181,000 after once again missing rental payments in 2016, which was followed by a third property-related lawsuit in 2020, where Tiger had racked up over $200,000 in damages and unpaid rent on yet another rental property. It was then revealed that Tiger was being court-ordered to pay for $200,000 worth of unpaid jewelry, which accompanied the accusation by his ex-girlfriend Blac Chyna that he'd been missing child support payments. And just to add a cherry on top of the cake, while all of this was going down, Tiger was in $890,000 worth of tax debt to the government.
Oh my god,
Despite all of this, Tiger is still seen flexing a lavish life on social media, which is a luxury unavailable to rap producer Scott Storch, who blew through $70 million in less than 3 years. Scott had earned this money by producing for some of the biggest names in music, including Kanye West, Dr. Dre, and Jay-Z.
Oh wow,
Scott Storch's insane net worth began
oh my god, those three names, and he's producing. Jesus, dude, this guy must have been making bank.
To diminish after he'd purchased an insane supercar
he spent
collection,
70 million
cars, including Bugattis and Ferraris and all that kind of stuff,
as well as a $10.5 million mansion where he housed more than 20 staff, including a boat captain, just in case he wanted to go out on his yacht.
Oh my god.
On full-time staff?
Yeah.
In case you want to take the boat out?
Yeah.
And the boat was how many bedrooms?
7.
7-bedroom boat, worth about how much?
20 million.
20 million.
Scott went on to explain
God
just how
damn.
much this lifestyle was costing him.
My monthly overhead for my household employees was somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million a month I was spending.
And that if he continued to work, there wouldn't have been any problems, although this isn't what he would do.
It went from
What, he
me working
retired?
and delivering to
being an
doing
adult.
drugs and not going to the studio.
I just stopped working, and then I got depressed and jaded.
As mentioned, Scott stopped making music and instead began to get addicted to the nightlife
Oof.
in Miami. And with no money coming in plus $1 million a month going out, it was only going to be so long before Scott hit zero. By 2009, just 3 years after
Files
having
for
a net worth
bankruptcy,
of 70
yikes.
million, Scott had filed for bankruptcy. 6 years later, Scott would file for bankruptcy a second time, claiming to have a grand total of $3,600 of assets to his name, $100 in cash,
Wow.
$500 in clothing, and a $3,000 watch. Most shocking, his music companies are valued at $0.
Wow.
And in 2014, he made a grand total of only $10,000. Throughout this hardship, Fat Joe was one of the only
Damn,
rappers
dude,
to
that's
keep
quite
their
the
friendship
fall.
with Scott, possibly because Fat Joe went through a similar situation himself. Fat Joe had earned $1.18 million in 2007, $1.28 million in 2008, $265,000 in 2009, and $630,000 in 2010. However, despite having made this $3.3 million in only 4 years, Fat Joe failed to pay taxes on it. He was able to come up with $718,000 and had also done extensive charity work. However, this wasn't enough to satisfy the judge, who sentenced Fat Joe to 4 months in prison.
Really?
Despite
Wow.
taking personal responsibility for his actions by stating, "There was a lot going on in the years that I didn't file my taxes, but it was my responsibility." Less than 4 years later, Fat Joe entered news headlines again after the IRS revealed that he still owed them $1.1
With fat.
million
Go-
in
go, alright.
taxes. However, this number was absolutely nothing in comparison to Fat Joe's friend Lil Kim, who owed almost 4
Lil Kim. Whoa, I forgot about her. Whoa, what
times
happened to her?
more and became, quote, too poor to file for bankruptcy. Lil Kim wasn't nearly as successful as some of the other rappers featured on this list. However, this didn't stop her from purchasing a $2.3 million mansion back in 2002, notably with the help of a mortgage. Throughout the 2000s, Kim's music career slowed dramatically, and by 2018, Kim was filing for bankruptcy as she still owed the full $2 million on her property, despite the 16 years that had passed.
She still owed $2 million. Wait, so she didn't pay for anything?
In addition to this, Kim now owed $1.85 million to the government for 13 years worth of unpaid taxes,
God
which
damn,
accompanied
man.
a further $185,000 in unpaid legal fees. The bankruptcy became even worse after discovering that by 2018, Kim was earning a comparatively small $18,000 per month, of which $2,000 went to staff, another $2,000 went to clothing, and $10,000 went
Why are you spending $2K a month on clothing?
to travel
man?
fees.
$10K a month on travel?
Meaning she had less than $4,000 per month to dig herself out of $4 million worth of debt. Somehow Lil Kim managed to, quote,
Oh,
get her
yikes.
finances into good shape, and her bankruptcy filing was dismissed. However, MC Hammer wasn't quite so
MC
lucky.
Hammer, oh,
Despite
man,
having
okay.
the 5th best-selling hip-hop album of all time, which sold 17 million copies and featured songs such as You Can't Touch This, MC
Touch
Hammer
This.
wasn't able to stay out of financial trouble. He bought more than
Classic.
17 luxury cars, a private jet, 2 helicopters, and 21
17 luxury cars, a private, Jesus, God, and 21 racehorses? What are you doing with 21 racehorses? Are you racing them?
racehorses. Some of the horses were
do you
valued
need
at
21
around $1 million.
racehorses?
Most of his expenses, however, were on his home. He bought a property in Fremont, California for $12 million and spent another $30 million on renovations to turn it into his dream home. He added a bowling alley, basketball court, baseball field, recording studio, movie theater, 17-car garage, tennis courts, and 2 swimming pools to the 40,000
God
square
damn,
foot
that is an
mansion.
upgrade.
One of the pools was shaped like his signature baggy
His
pants,
signature
that came to be
baggy
known as
pants.
hammer
Oh
pants.
my God,
He added
that's hilarious.
several marble statues of himself
Of
throughout
course,
the property
of
and
course,
installed
why
a
not?
gold hot tub in his bedroom.
Why not?
And
Why
to keep
not?
everything running smoothly, he employed a staff of nearly 200 people on the
200
property, which
people? What the fuck? Oh my God, dude.
cost him an
Dude,
estimated
you're not a fucking CEO.
$500,000
You ain't a CEO of a major
month.
company, my dude.
Unsurprisingly, less than 5 years later,
Oh
MC
my
Hammer had filed for
Lord.
bankruptcy, at which point it had be revealed that he hadn't only spent his entire $70 million fortune, but had also taken on a further $13 million in loans, which had been borrowed from over 200 different
Oh,
lending
these guys, these
institutions.
people are
Despite having
so
spent a total
bad,
of
man.
$42
It's such a
million on his
waste.
California dream home, the property resold for only $6.5 million.
Only sold for
However, However, if we're on the topic of
6.5.
expensive
Oh.
homes being repossessed by the bank, we need to talk about Birdman, who's ranked as the 15th
Birdman.
richest rapper in the world with a net worth of $110 million. But this is what makes Birdman's story unique. If he was worth over $100 million, why was his Miami mansion being repossessed by the bank for non-payment? Birdman had purchased the home back in 2012 for $14.5 million, yet by 2017 a foreclosure suit had been filed by the bank, and quote, all personal items within the home, including platinum records gracing the walls, a pool table, and dozens of pairs of shoes, were all confiscated and placed in storage.
God
The
damn,
mansion was
dude.
eventually sold by the bank for $10.85 million in July 2020. However, Birdman's lawyer has come out to explain the foreclosure, stating that it was the result of illegal loan terms set by the bank, so perhaps take Birdman's bankruptcy with a grain of salt. However, there's no ambiguity around how
T-Pain.
T-Pain went broke, as he's now come on multiple podcasts to explain just how brutal his bankruptcy was. T-Pain had built up a net worth of over $40 million at his peak in 2007, with all of his closest rap friends advising him that as long as he kept rapping, the money would keep on coming in.
Everybody before me that I had to look up to, they were just like, no, this is great. Once you start rapping, it's just money all the time. Nothing bad's ever gonna happen. Your family's not gonna come after you. Just rap, and it's just girls and swimming pools after this.
For this reason, his spending began to get out of control.
I bought my Bugatti.
You bought it for $2.1 million.
$2.1 million.
And then you, very shortly thereafter, you sold
That's
it
a
for,
clean
all
car.
they gave you was $800,000.
Yeah.
So it was like renting a car for $1.3 million.
Yeah.
With the purchase of his Bugatti accompanying a $400,000 chain and houses for his
Sheesh.
workmates.
I got this house
God damn,
over here.
boy.
I got this
That
other
shit
house
clean.
for my assistants and, you know, all my runners and my producers and stuff. So we bought a house after that, and we just started going crazy with the money. I wasn't paying attention to it.
Which was extra bad as T-Pain never even checked in on how much money he had.
I didn't want to know because I was led to believe that this is it's only gonna grow.
gonna keep
because
coming.
these rappers told me that I'm just gonna make money forever. It's just gonna keep going up and up.
In the process, T-Pain began to create less music, and within a few years, his accountant was advising him that he was almost out of money.
My accountant was like, dude, you're like out of money. And I was like, no, I'm not.
And while T-Pain seemed confident that he had plenty of cash left,
Was he getting
reality
warned
set in
at
for
all,
him
like,
after he'd have
by
to
the
borrow
accountant?
money
Come
just
on.
to buy food.
When you say you was broke, you had like $0 broke?
I like had to borrow money to get my kids Burger King.
What's the most you ever had in the bank at one time?
40 million.
However, T-Pain was lucky to get away with
40
the
million
loss
in
of
the bank
only
at
40
once.
million,
God damn,
as
dude,
the
that's-
final person on our list makes this number look like
50.
loose change. 50 Cent. 50 didn't only release the 10th best-selling American hip-hop album of all time,
That's an insane
but
album.
he also made over $100 million on a vitamin water investment.
Wait,
plus
how
a
much?
further
Wait, what?
time, but he also made over $100 million on a vitamin
$100 million? Oh
water
my
investment,
god,
plus a
dude.
further $78 million from a luxury underwear deal.
Oh
in the
my
late 2000s,
lord,
50
that's
Cent made an
insane.
estimated
$300
$300 million
in
in
2
only
years.
2 years.
Holy
So when he
shit,
announced that he
dude.
was filing for bankruptcy
Oh,
in mid-2015,
God, what
with
a
debts
waste.
totaling over $32 million,
Oh,
the
what a
entire
waste.
world was thinking the same thing. How did this happen? Well, after 50 Cent uploaded a sex tape with Rick Ross's girlfriend, 50 was successfully sued for $7 million, which accompanied
Okay.
another court order for 50 Cent to pay $17 million to a headphone
Okay,
manufacturer
24
after one of
million.
their collabs went sour. 50
Well,
Cent's
it's a small
clothing
amount
company G-Unit Clothing
compared to
then
what he
fell
had.
out of the spotlight, which accompanied the closing of his movie company G-Unit Productions, as well as his boxing company SMS Promotions. Throughout the whole process, the global financial crisis had taken a toll on the value of 50 Cent's investments,
Yeah,
and by
okay.
2015, he was earning a comparatively small $185,000 per month. You could certainly argue
Still
that
is an
this
insane
was enough
amount.
for 50 to get back on his feet. However, $108,000 of this monthly income was going
Oh,
toward
yeah,
an
the renting.
18-bedroom mega mansion,
That's-
while the remaining $77,000 was going toward menial expenses such as his gardener, with bankruptcy documents revealing that 50 Cent still owed money to his stylist, fitness coach, and even his barber. Despite this, he began to troll on social media with posts such as this one, spelling out the word broke with $100 bills, and within 2 years, 50 Cent had paid back $23 million worth of his $32 million debt. 50 Cent eventually got back to zero, and according to Google, has built up a net worth of $40 million over the last 5 years.
Oh god, man, what a waste sometimes. Yeah, just hearing about some of the ways these people lost money was physically painful, dude. It's such a shame, man. It's like just give other people the money. Give some other people the money, man. Give me the money. Come on, just give me a little bit. Give me $1 million. Come on. Gonna throw it away anyway. Ah, goddamn, dude, that was painful.